Loktargar friends, hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout. And we only did 3 exercises on camera because I'm going to do some glute ham raises off camera. I got my glute ham raise bench earlier this week, and I've been doing high rep hyper extensions on it every day with my ab work and my face pulls. And I'm finally adapting to that, but I don't want to do any GHRs on camera because they're going to be pathetic to watch at first. You guys remember when I used to be relatively strong at them? I used to do them with a 25. Actually, it was a 10 kilo plate back in the UK. Way back in the day. We're talking over 5 years ago now at this point. Because I did have access to one at a gym. So I have one again, and I feel like it's going to be an invaluable piece of equipment for me. Because again, bringing up all the weak points. You know, it's kind of like I've explained earlier with a lot of this. If we identify our weak points on the big lifts and we thicken those areas up, we make everything grow, right? In other words, if you get strong enough to bench more for your work sets because you thicken up the weak link, like in my case, triceps, then chest and delts will grow. Same thing with squats and deadlifts and everything else. And I feel like I'm just going to thicken up all those possible muscles that could be weak links in those, and everything will grow. Because again, now we're just going to recomp at this weight. People need to remember the goal is to stay on my keto diet, keep my diet super tight, conditioning work up, recomp, and stay under 220. Get as strong as possible, use that work capacity to increase energy turnover, and then enter another much smaller cutting phase than the one I did last year. All right, 40 pounds is a lot. I don't have 40 pounds of fat to lose at this point. People will say, yes, you do. No, my DEXA scan says otherwise, says I don't. But we could lose another 20 pounds of fat. We can lose another 20 pounds of fat. So again, need to be the best athlete possible. And that means body composition, getting rid of non-functional weight. So again, lean tissue, that's the name of the game, body composition. But today, dynamic effort day. Dynamic effort day. I did 12 doubles on the box squat. With 337.5. I went up 2.5 pounds on these. I kept the same reps and sets. Tiny micro load increase. Again, getting used to the box squat still in certain ways. And I think Monday we're going to do a max effort box squat. We're going to come back in and see if we can increase my box squat max again. I think I'm good for another 10 pounds over last time. That's what I think I'm good for. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I'm not even worried about it. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing so many box squats that my box squat is just going to go up tremendously, and it's already carrying over to the Sumo deadlift. So, you know, I just feel like the hook grip's going to be the issue there, which I feel like I made good progress with. So we're just addressing all these weak points, and then we're coming in and doing large volumes of training on all this dynamic work or compensatory acceleration, however you choose to word it. Again, I'm going to have a lot of videos discussing that in the future, because really a lot of what I'm doing is going to be more geared towards traditional compensatory acceleration rather than, say, West Side style dynamic. But honestly, the concept is really the same. You're still training very similar principles. I'm just not using bands right now because bands start reducing the amount of volume you can handle to some extent because they're very difficult on the recovery end. Because those overspeed eccentrics and stuff can really cause a lot of DOMs. They can cause, again, muscle fiber damage that we don't want to deal with till you get to a certain point. I'm not going to use it until I need it, in other words. And then I might rotate it in for phases. But for now, I'm making progress again. I'm regaining lost strength, and I'm doing so without gaining body weight, which means I'm probably recomping. People noticed, I got a comment this morning, I look bigger even sitting in a t-shirt week to week, which is good because if I'm staying at the same weight and I'm looking bigger, we're hopefully seeing some recomp. Again, keeping these workloads high and focusing on lifting the weight as fast as possible. And finding my groove on the box squats is interesting. That's the other thing with doing very, very large numbers of first reps with all this stuff. You start to find your foot positions and bar paths and everything else that really give you the most speed, right? What makes the weight feel the lightest, because you get to experiment. When you do 12 sets, you really get to experiment with what knee position, what foot position, what heel position makes the weight feel lightest. And for me, I'm not great at ultra wide squatting. I'm not built for it. I actually, because of my hip angles, I do really well with narrow squatting, but I probably could stand to go wider. Because again, most people are stronger with a slightly wider squat. Although I'm on the more extreme end, so for me, my wide squat's probably going to be narrower than some people. And I'm speaking as someone who's hit pretty big numbers in the past. We're all decently big numbers. That I just know where my strengths lie, but I do need to get better at the wider. So for me, this is really wide. Like, this is about as wide as I can go. When I start going wider, even on the boxes, I feel really weak at the bottom. I have problems with knee vagus. So I might see if I can slowly bring it out a little bit more from this over time, but I'm going to have to build into that. And again, all this work lets me do that. But we got the 12 sets today. And actually, let me be honest, I did 13. Why do I have 12 here? Well, because I forgot to film one. The button didn't work. I hit the play button on like my third set. Because it didn't record, I did one more so that I had 12 for the camera. So I technically did 13 with a micro load increase. So a fair amount of workload of quality explosive reps. And you know, it's, again, a lot of people are noting, saying, yeah, your hamstrings are pretty thick from all this. Well, my hamstrings have always been pretty thick. But we're going to see if the GHRs and all that increase my hamstring size. If I get bigger hamstrings, that's probably going to give me more bounce out of the bottom of a squat, which in theory might let me squat more and, you know, might make my legs grow more. Certainly can't hurt. If anything, bigger hamstrings reduce injury risk. They protect the knee a bit. So we're going to work on thickening up those hammies more. It's like I'm working on my erectors, my triceps, right? All that stuff, my abs. Doing a lot of work for thoracic and spinal erectors right now. A lot of work for triceps. So we can do more work for hamstrings. Let's get all these possible weak links just built up as thick as possible. It's the name of the game. Get everything as thick as possible and then worry about weight by dropping body fat. And you know what? The thicker and bigger you are in terms of muscle, the easier it is to drop body fat anyway. So you have a higher energy turnover. All right. So that's what it is. Maximize body composition. And that's the other thing, you know, tell people, worry about weight class based upon how much muscle you can carry, really. You know, you can always diet body fat down to make a lighter weight. But again, your height and your muscle mass is really going to determine your weight classes in any strength sport. But for now, I've just got to get strong and not gain any body fat. And ideally continue to lose a little more. And that's going pretty good. Again, the diet's on point. I bumped up the Sumo. I felt like it was too light last time, even for speed work. We went at 15 pounds. So we were working with 445. And I did 8 singles, and I felt like the 8th one, it started to slow down. And my thumbs were starting to get really sore. But these first 2 reps, I noticed I'm making the mistake on the hook grip that I felt made me slip on that deadlift the other day, right? Remember that deficit deadlift earlier this week that I missed due to the hook grip that I totally had? It went up nice and fine. I felt the first 2 reps, my thumbs were slippy. And I realized I wasn't setting my hook perfectly. So the last 6 reps, I adjusted the way I was doing my hook grip, and it held really, really strong. All right, I was able to hold the lockout at the top. So that's going to be another big perk to doing the dynamic work with the hook grip, especially just doing singles, because it's just too hard to do rep work with a hook grip. But just doing it as singles, I feel like that is going to carry over to all my deadlifting, right? This is letting me really experiment more and get more quality reps in that are under a fairly heavy load, just because we're getting towards, this is probably around 85% on my Sumo right now. I don't think my Sumo is much more than about 520, 525, base limited by my hook grip and everything. But I'm also finding the foot positions. Again, it comes down to it. A slightly narrower stance for me, I get better pop out of the bottom on the hook grip, or the Sumo. Sorry, you guys know what I meant. I get a better pop out of the bottom. So again, this is telling me a lot about my personal leverages. And if we can get stronger at the Sumo, and we get stronger at the box squat, that's going to carry over to my other big lifts. And these are versions that are easy to recover from. We can do a lot of training volume with, a lot of first reps with, get bigger, get stronger, and it will make me better at my main lifts. And then I can always specialize in the main lifts again later. That's the other thing. I can always do a Bulgarian phase again anytime I feel like it, to peak those again. It went pretty well last time. I want to surpass those, though. I want to get stronger than those at a much lighter body weight. I'd like to be 50 pounds lighter than I was last year at my best, and I'm already 40 pounds lighter. I'd like to be 50 pounds lighter and be stronger than I was. Now, some people say that's a tall order. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a tall order. But I want to reach for it. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Believe in myself. But it's going to take a lot of work. I'm going to get there, though. I'm going to get there. With that one, you guys notice I'm slowing a little bit. And then this 8th one, it started to slow down considerably. Now, keep in mind, I'm taking short breaks between these. These are done about 90 seconds apart. I'm basing it on how long it takes liquid grip to dry on my thumbs, because I'm re-chalking my thumbs every time, and as soon as it feels dry and there's no moist spots, I run back in, turn the camera back on, and do another pull. And I felt like the 8th one, it was slowing down a bit. I wasn't going to be able to get 12 with the 15-pound increase on this like I did last time, but we'll build to it. I'll build to it over time. Then we need to do, this is going to be my main squat accessory right now. This is what I need. I really have to build my thoracic erectors and everything. Now, I could do these seated instead, but I'm choosing to do them standing. And maybe if this stalls and I feel like it's no longer working, I will switch to a seated version. But I feel like right now this works. My thoracic erectors, it just lights them up. And I know they're a weak link for me, and I know they need to be brought up. I can see it when I get to a really heavy squat. So again, building those thoracic erectors, and a lot of that's even corrected by my daily face pulls. So these assistance movements like this is how we build those weak links up. And if I can bring up those weak links, my squat will go up. If I can learn to stay more upright on the squat by building a stronger T-spine, and you're never going to be perfectly upright on a max squat. Anyone who tells you that's full of shit. But if I can improve that, it'll give me better leverages. I can lift more weight. I can get stronger, build more muscle. And my main lift will go up. So again, this is a weak link. And I know this is a little light, fluffy work. I mean, this is 155 pounds. That's what I have on the bar. That's not a lot of weight. But, you know, doing volume with it at the end of these workouts is what I need to do. Now, some people are like, well, where's the tricep work? I'm just going to throw a larger amounts of targeted tricep volume in at the end of my upper body days. I feel like for me, hitting somewhere in the range of about 10 to 20 sets that my triceps get hit between the various presses and accessories twice a week, that should be enough to bring up my leg and triceps. That's a lot of tricep volume. It's a lot of tricep volume. So, by the way, there's noise in the background, guys. They've run so much lawn work here, and I'm going to film anyways, and unfortunately it started. So we'll just deal with it near the end of the workout, because I'm going to get this workout footage up today. But yeah, we're just going to do more tricep work on those days, and I think 2 really high volume tricep days will sort that problem out. So again, 3 sets of the good mornings after doing my high volume dynamic effort work, and then I'm going to go do some glute ham raises off camera, and I'm probably going to be cramping in my hamstrings afterwards. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.